Okay, good evening, everybody. My name is Ella, and I work in the PR department of Leman HaChai. I'm not sure that everybody knows what Leman HaChai is. Maybe there are people here from out of Beit Shemesh and out, even people from America. So I just want to give you a little bit of an introduction. Of course, the introduction is for Orit Riter to speak, but and we're very, very honored for her to be here tonight. Leman HaChai is a chesed organization in Beit Shemesh, which helps people get back on their own feet when they get into financial difficulties. A family that comes to us, they come because they have a financial difficulty. For whatever reason, we see all kinds of stories, and we help them by giving them a social worker, and the social worker looks at what the story of this family is, and we help them get back on their own feet. And usually they need financial counseling, they need counseling therapy. We have a citizens' rights person that knows everything about Bituach Lomi, what type of help you can get from the government. We have a person that helps them figure out if they want to change careers or even get a career, because some of the families, they don't have an education. So Leman HaChai helps them to go back to school. And the whole process takes whatever time it takes for that family. And meanwhile, a family that comes and goes back to school, for example, they need help with food. So Baruch Hashem, Leman HaChai is an organization that gets lots of help from the community. It's a community organization, and we help people here in Beit Shemesh, but actually it's far more than Beit Shemesh. And people that get the help, they get help by volunteers that help us at Leman HaChai, by donors. And this year's theme of Rosh Hashanah is Tafshin Pei Bet Beyachad. We are all together, and we're helping the people together, the social workers, the volunteers, the donors, and it's a private funded organization. So we need everybody's help. And we're very happy tonight to be here with Orit Riter, that is going to speak to us about Teshuva and about how that connects to Smart Chesed. Smart Chesed is just not to just give money to a person, but to help them really get back on their own feet. And like when you teach somebody how to fish, then they, for the rest of their life, they will know how to fish. They will have what to eat. I mean, if we just give them something to eat, then the next week, the next month, they will come back to us. So we try to help them really from the bottom up. So Orit, we're very honored for you to be here. Thank you very much. And everybody enjoy.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Wow, this is definitely a beautiful opportunity for us to get together. The circumstances lead us that we have to get together over Zoom, but I want to just say that I'm embracing every single one who's watching us live and those who will watch on recording. When Ella called me and said, hey, do you want to help Leman HaChai be part of the spreading the word about, what we do? As you could tell, I'm even with heart palpitations now, because I have a very, very special connection to Leman HaChai, which I will share with you. So I want to keep you a little bit in suspense, but I'm going to share my personal experience with Leman HaChai, which is, I think, one of the reasons why Ella felt it would be really such a beautiful thing to have us gain chizuk and strength and unite together in the idea of not only us being in the so important month of Elul, but also in the idea of supporting one another, uniting with one another, helping one another. And as you could see, Leman HaChai's slogan, breaking the cycle of poverty, and really chesed, mindful chesed, doing chesed with a matara, with a goal in mind. And the goal in mind is just like Ella so eloquently said, It's about rehabilitating the spirit and the pocket in order to help a person. Again, it's going to be really hard for me to talk without, I hope I have tissues. It's just, it touches such a deep note. For those who know me, you know that I'm a very emotional person as it is, and I cry pretty much very easily, but this touches such a personal note with me because what Ella says that Lamanachai does, again, I was one of their personal, clients, and, I personally experienced it firsthand. But again, let's go and talk a little bit, Divrei Torah and Divrei Chizuk, and strengthen ourselves as we stand here, literally Parashat Nitzavim, as we stand here a couple of days before Rosh Hashanah. We're edging towards the end of the year. And yes, tonight's class is about the power of Elul, Teshuva, Tzedakah. I'm no stranger to talking about self-empowerment to women, mostly women, but of course also men, teenagers around the world for over a decade now as director of the Emuna Energy Institute and writer and author of the Daily Dose of Emuna.com. I actually have my 2 books here, also the author of 2 books. The third one's on its way, Turnaround book series. This is what I do, this is what Hashem, I don't do anything. It's what Hashem has enabled me to do for the past 10 years. And that is to help all of us feel empowered by seeing Hashem in front of us, no matter what the situation at hand, no matter what we go through in life. It's to go through life by living the pasuk, Shiviti Hashem, Lenegdi Tamid Ki Mimini Bal Emot. It's living in that verse of Tehillim where I see Hashem in front of me always, and his hand never leaves me. It's vitalizing the spirit through that verse of consciousness. It's something very interesting also with the theme of tonight, the idea of smart chesed, the idea of giving of oneself to those in need and to the community. And again, it doesn't matter where you're watching from, if you're a member of, you know who Lamanachai is, or you're a resident of Bet Shemesh or not. The idea behind even this verse is, if you look very closely, Shiviti Hashem lenegdi tamid means I see in front of me Hashem. I always see you in front of me. Shiviti means shaveh, equally. No matter what happens to me in my life, Shiviti Hashem, everything shaveh, everything is equal. I always see you, Hashem, in front of me. You're always facing me. You're always embracing me. You're always empowering me to be lifted from my brokenness. But look how the rest of the verse, which many times we just stick with the Shiviti Hashem and we don't look at the rest of the verse. And the rest of the verse says, Ki mimini, because from my right hand, Baal Emot, my right hand, Baal, if you switch the letters around, spells the word lev, heart. So it means that my miyamini, from my right hand, and my heart, lo emot, it's always together. They'll never part. My hand and my heart will always be together, meaning that whatever it is that I do, what are the hands? The hands are the organs of action in the world. Everything that I do in my life is intimately connected to all that I feel and to seeing you, Hashem. Everything that I'm going to do, everything that I'm going to feel, it's all to embrace the Shiviti. It's all to see you in front of me always. And this is the motto, and this is the theme of rehabilitating the spirit. Certainly now, with all that's going on, this uncertainty, COVID is just sort of like the umbrella that's just really been covering and hovering over us. But the truth be it, is life has always been very uncertain. I don't think we could have ever felt maybe at this level, the level of uncertainty and confusion. But at the end of the day, nothing really changed. Life was never really certain. We never really knew what was going to happen tomorrow. We just lived under this sort of like facade. And so now we're being ushered into this consciousness of yearning to feel the meaning and the purpose and the connection of all these messages that are coming through, whether it's through COVID, whether it's through the world situation, the government, the change, the shifts, the financial, all kinds of different freedoms that are being exposed and expressed and spoken about. We're sensing that energy shift. We're sensing that change in life. And Rabbi Nachman teaches us something really beautiful in Torah too. And he says that this sense of incompletion that we all feel in general, again, have always kind of felt in general, is really a part and parcel of life as a whole. And he says there that the journey towards Kedusha, the journey towards my higher self, my holiness, and discovering who I am, my soul, my higher self, of course, with that discovering Hashem within me that vitalizes my life force every moment of the day, is paralleled to feelings of sometimes feeling incomplete, feeling rejected even, feeling confused, feeling in anguish, Rabbi Nachman even dares to say. And he says that in order, what we're supposed to be doing with these emotions from this brokenness, from this broken spirit of ours, we need to increase the yearning. We need to recognize that Hashem sort of created the world perfectly imperfect. He left it at one point in order to create a sense of lacking, so that you and I, as human beings, I actually call us human becomings because we're always becoming. We're really not being. We're not in a state of being. We're in a state of always becoming and developing and growing and transforming. And I shouldn't be the same person tomorrow as I am sitting here right now with you today. Every day needs to be a new experience for me, discovering something new about myself, about my kids, about my relationships, and so on and so forth. Of course, my relationship with God. And so the whole idea is that every time we confront something that's lacking for us in our lives, we are standing in a situation where we're supposed to see Shiviti Hashem. We're supposed to discover and reveal for ourselves, where is God in this lacking? How can I complete my life by bringing in the energy of the message, of the purpose of what it is that Hashem is trying to show me? And he's all the time talking to us. And the way that he talks to us is through the circumstances of our lives. So when we find ourselves that we're lacking something, whether it's financial, whether it's emotional, right? Some people need shidduchs, some people need, children, health, God forbid. I mean, there's an array, unfortunately, of lackings in life. It's supposed to draw us towards looking at the higher purpose of what it is that Hashem is trying to show us. And Rabbi Nachman teaches us that it's an illusion to think that Hashem doesn't care. It's an illusion. It's a tactic of the Yetzer Hara, of the evil inclination, that sort of shows us as though he's moving away from us, that sort of presents the idea and presents the picture as though Hashem doesn't care for us, or that he doesn't notice our yearning, or that he doesn't feel our pain. And if we look back at the last prophecy, the last prophet of Torah, that Torah depicts and gives to us the information from the last prophet, Malachi, right, Hanavi. What is the last prophecy that Hashem gives through Malachi? He says, Ve'ahavti etchem. I have loved you. I have loved you through exile. I have loved you. I will love you, continue to love you through redemption. I love you. And if you don't feel that love, that means there's something off within us, because Hashem's love is always continuous. Again, everything is so that we will find the Shiviti, we will find that equilibrium, we will find Hashem in everything that my hands are involved in, everything that my heart feels, right? Lo emot, it will always be connected to you, Hashem, no matter what. It's always connected to you. And one of the ways that we can feel more of that is through the process of tshuva, which is why it is in this month, the month of Elul, Anila Dodiva Dodili, I am for my beloved and my beloved is for me. The whole idea of this connection between us as a whole conglomerate nation and me, the individual in front of Hashem, the whole idea of this month is to find and reveal that love, because that love is in every Jewish spirit. In every creature of creation, there's an infinite, boundless love that is generated naturally, inherently in every single one of us. And it is our job to try to shave down the shackles, shave down the barriers, break down those walls, whether they're around my heart, whether they're around my brain, but I have to find those barriers and I need to release them from me so that what's naturally flowing inside of me, that love, that connection, that yearning, that trust, that Emuna in Hashem will naturally rise up. One of the ways, one of the most significant ways to break down those walls is through the power of Teshuva and Tzedakah. When we connect Teshuva together with Tzedakah, it's a testimony. When I give Tzedakah, it's a testimony that I've gone through an internal transformation within myself. My behavior's changed. My attitude has changed. I recognize that whatever gifts I have, whatever, whatever Hashem has given me, whether it's financial skills, resources, whatever it is that I can give to the community, they're given to me as a gift. They're given to me on loan, and they're given to me for me to share with someone else and to try to seek out the solution of that person's need and that lacking. And that is one of the things that Hashem, in his infinite wisdom and design of the universe, he purposely created a universe where there would always be someone who's lacking, and there would always be a Lamana Chai who could fill up that gap. There's always going to be that teamwork. There's always, in order to create that full puzzle, what goes around comes around. Once I'm going to be on top, once I'm going to be on the bottom, once I have to receive, once I could be in a position to give. Okay, it may not be that I can give what I received in direct order. Maybe all that I can give right now is a listening ear. Maybe all that I can give right now is time to run an errand for somebody. But there's always something that everyone could give to someone else. And so when I allow that tzedakah to manifest in my hand, it shows, and it's a testimony above and to myself and to those around me, that there is an internal transformation that's happening within me, and that I recognize that whatever it is that I have, the gifts that I have, they don't belong to me. They are from the oneness and the kindness and the benevolence, the boundless, endless benevolence that Hashem has given. And so if Hashem deposited a lot of that in one person's pocket, that's not his. That's for him to recognize that that's part of the oneness bank, and that oneness bank now needs to be dispersed and distributed to others. And that breaks the walls of love. Once you're able to give from that place, once you're able to reach that consciousness, that automatically, like a sledgehammer, it breaks open the heart so that we feel this enormous amount of love towards Hashem, because we become the pipeline of being the giver of that which Hashem gave to us. And it's a elevated, transformational place to be in. And it's very, very important when we look at our lives, okay? And we look at the mitzvahs that we're also, commanded to do. We need to be able to look at it and say, why am I even doing this? Why am I giving tzedakah? Why am I doing tshuva? What is this whole purpose? I just got back from a beautiful tour, in the United States, just meeting women of all walks of life. And, you know, I ask women whenever I meet them, what is your relationship with Hashem? How do you sense Hashem's love in your life? I don't know if any of you have ever asked yourself, what does it feel like to feel Hashem's love? And I know it sounds kind of odd to even think about asking that, but we do need to ask ourselves, what does Hashem's love feel like to me? Because if I don't feel Hashem's love in my life, then all that follows, tefillah, tzedakah, ma'asim tuvim, good deeds, mitzvahs, all of that is incumbent and founded upon that situation that I need to be able to feel generated. There needs to be a generator inside of me that drives me and pulls me to do all this, because I love you, Hashem, because I see you, Hashem, in everything, because I recognize that even if I'm in a place of lacking right now or brokenness, which many of us are in, unfortunately, fortunately, I have to use the word fortunately, because again, it's all a motivating factor to get us to do something else. Hashem doesn't want us to remain broken. He wants us to try to fix that which is broken, right? So the idea is, but I have to be sure, I have to be super focused and sure that I know that Hashem loves me. So I'm gonna just invite and tickle everyone for just a moment. This is something I did extensively in the tour that I just mentioned. I asked women, I've put them through an actual meditation, but I'm not going to do that right now. But I'm going to invite those that are watching here live. You can, I mean, or cannot. I'm not really viewing any of you. I'm on speaker view, so I don't know if you're doing it or not. But maybe at another time, you might want to just sit with yourself and do this. And again, I put women through a much more deeper level of meditation, but I want to tickle you a little bit and just ask you all, if you can, just close your eyes for a minute. And this is what I've been, doing for the past couple of weeks, again, in a deeper way, but just for a moment, just close your eyes for a minute. And if I ask you to just bring to your mind an image, what does Hashem's love look like to you right now? What does it look like? What image? What color? What do you see in front of your mind's eye when your eyes are closed and you're going into your subconscious mind? What does it look like to you? Because that program, that's the program that's motivating you and getting you to do everything that you're doing. And unless you see that love, unless you're presented with an image of love and light and beauty and warmth, everything that follows is going to be either, woo, let's go, or it'll be like staggering back, okay? So again, I mean, from this point, you can also go and continue and say, if you don't feel that love, if you don't sense that perfect, beautiful, enlightened image of your spirit, and your subconscious mind is not programming you to see Hashem's love in like a ball of light, sunshine, flowers, a beautiful field of flowers, I don't know, something gorgeous. If you don't, then you could just go straight. I want to be able to do a corrective path with all of you for those who, will continue to do this onward, is you could just go in and break into that verse of Tehillim that says, Horeni Hashem Darkecha, right? Show me, lead me, Hashem, show me your way, lead me in the straight path, show me that direction that you want me to go to fulfill my higher will and to fulfill your will. And to ultimately, that will lead me to my true, genuine, happy path, right? Of true self. So it's extremely, extremely important. And whoever's ready, you can open up your eyes at this point, but it's important for you to gauge. You get up in the morning, you have your routine. Every morning you should be asking yourself, what does Hashem's love look like for me today? And if I can't see it in the most beautiful light, right? If I can't envision it and imprint it in my subconscious mind as the program of my being on that day, well, then I'm going to ask Hashem, show me that. Show me, lead me in the way, right? Lead me in your way, right? Uncheni ba'orach mishol, show me in the direction that's correct, that's straight, and that's righteous, God willing. And this is our choice. We have that choice. Every single one of us has the choice to choose a life of Emuna. As we read, Derech Emuna Bachalti, living in a life of Emuna is a choice. It is something that you and I have the right to choose. We're not robots. We're not stuck. We're not handed a lot that we feel we can't change. Everything changes. As I teach energy medicine, life changes, energy moves, everything shifts. We need to believe that what was yesterday is not necessarily what's going to be today. And that's, again, one of the things I want to refer to what Lamana Chai does is they come in and they educate, and they've educated me when I needed it. They educate us when we need it and show us a new way. And that is a bchira, that is a choice. I have a choice to choose whether or not I want to be part of that giving cycle when I have the opportunity to do so. And thank God today, I'm a regular donor to Lamana Chai, a very proud donor in Lamana Chai. And please Hashem will award me and merit me to give more and more and more, every bit that I possibly can afford. And at the end of the day, we have that choice. And even again, if I had, which I was on that receiving end, which I'll share with you towards the end, if you do find yourself on that receiving end, you also have a choice to trust and believe that the wheels of cycle can and will turn. Nobody's stuck in their situation. You could remove those shackles. You can give another type of gift to someone else. Maybe right now it's not in the form of money, but there's always something. There's a skill, there's an attention, there's time, there's care, there's love, there's a hug, there's a smile. There's so many things that Hashem gives us the opportunity to be able to share with others. And we can't hold that back because, again, it's through that process of giving that we're able to also receive tons and tons of love, of love back. And this is what Hashem wants from us. He wants us to make a choice, a readyful choice that we choose to see Him even in those places of brokenness, that we choose to stand up to the call of action, that when there is brokenness, when there is difficulty, God forbid, that we also step up to the plate, and we're here to help others. We're here to recognize that, again, whatever is deposited in my account, meaning, again, I'm not just talking about money, although of course that's super duper important, but whatever it is that Hashem gives me, I recognize that it doesn't belong to me. I'm just a conduit to be able to share and care it with other people. And that is the real foundation of what we call smart chesed. And this is what Hashem wants. I want to address for a moment those that are, again, on the receiver's end. Because again, as I said, I know, I've been there, I've done that. I've been on the giving end, then I was on the receiving end. And now, thank God, going back towards the giving end. Please Hashem, we should all be givers. And, we don't want to be on the receiving end, but I will tell you that as a receiver once and twice and many, many times over, unfortunately, fortunately, because there is some beauty in that today when I look in hindsight of being on the receiving end, I will say to you that one of the most powerful tools that I felt was in my arsenal and in my ammunition box was the idea of never giving up hope, pleading and yelling out to Hashem that he appear before me, that he reveal his kindness, that I knew in my brain, I knew and I felt that Hashem was everlasting kind, his kindness. And I felt it through organizations such as Lamana Chai. I felt the warm embrace. Yes, maybe I didn't get it in the way, like nobody wants to really receive. However, I knew that Hashem put Lamana Chai and other amazing chesed organizations into the world as a gift from Him, from the Almighty, to be able to help me and to help so many others to be able to get through those tough times. And so again, it's just a work of completion. It's a matter of one filling the other piece of the puzzle so that we remain whole. So don't forget to yell out to Hashem. It says, Ki kolech arev. Hashem says, your voice is beloved to me. It's sweet to me. It's what I'm looking for. It's what I'm yearning for. It's so important that not only those who are on the receiving end, but also those on the giving end, we have to all the time yell out to Hashem, no matter where we are in our lives, because yes, maybe some of us don't have those financial difficulties right now, but we should never take for granted and never assume anything. As we said, energy moves, life moves, things change. We don't know when things will shift around. We don't know when things will move in a different direction. And so we always have to be in a position to yell out to Hashem and to ask him and to beseech his kindness and to ask him to reveal his kindness, because the kindness is there, right? And that is the basis. That is the baseline and the basis of feeling any sort of lacking, and also holding on and creating that vessel to be able to retain those blessings that Hashem gives to us. I also, I feel like, I hope that I brought some clarity and some awareness in speaking about this. I want to touch upon one other thing before I go a little bit more into my personal journey and my personal experience with Lamana Chai. So again, because today's talk is really based so much on the whole idea of Teshuva and Tzedakah and how they work together hand in hand. One of the things that Teshuva enables us to do is to let go of those past mistakes, the things we erred on, and we all have them. We all unfortunately have a truckload of stuff that some of it we remember and a lot of it, unfortunately, we don't. It's really good to do Teshuva every day and not wait for once a year, because it gets pretty loaded when you kind of go through 11 months worth of stuff. It's like trying to, when you do Pesach and you haven't touched your closets for 11 months, I'd like to see us all, before Pesach, like what? But if you upkeep throughout the year, of course, the cleaning, the inventory, the balance, the transformation, everything becomes so much easier. But what does Teshuva allow for us to be able to do? Is that Teshuva allows us to release those shackles of the past. One of the things that I mentioned again a lot in the past weeks, this month of Elul, is when you look at the word Avera, and this I find a profound teaching, but the Hebrew language, Lashon HaKodesh, is such a secretive, mystical, esoteric language. There's so many things you can learn from a simple word, let alone scrambling the letters and doing unifications. One of the things that the Baal Shem Tov, the holy Baal Shem Tov was taught and brought down this amazing wisdom into the world. I'm not getting into that. I'm certainly not proficient at all. But one of the things, if you look at the word Avera, which means a transgression, a sin, however you want to call it, an erring, a wrongdoing, however you want to translate it, you'll notice that in the word Avera is the word Avar and then Ka, right? The Yud and then the Hey, Avar and then Hashem. So already we see here that in the word Avera, there's this separation of sort of like passing over and being in a separate area, so to speak, God forbid, from Hashem. So one of the things we see here is that just the Avera in and of itself, the essence of the word means I'm on the other side, Avar, I'm past on the other side, God forbid, of Hashem. So what happens when you do Teshuva? You automatically are able to now move closer and come closer to the presence of Hashem. But not only that, what does an Avera bring us to do? What, unless we clear it out, what is it? where does it leave us? It leaves us in the avar. It leaves us in the past. And all we want to do in life is put one foot in front of the other and grow and elevate and change and transform. That's all every single one of us wants to do. We love growing. We love developing. We love intellectual, the whole intellectual stimulation of growing and understanding and deepening who we are, revealing new layers of self-discovery brings us as people tremendous amount of nahat from ourselves. We salivate with enjoyment, knowing that I'm different tomorrow than who I was today, that I've developed, that I've grown. And so the whole idea of an Avera keeps me stuck, so to speak, in the past, which means not only am I now far away from my ka, from the godly essence, from you, Hashem, which is my higher self and a higher awareness and all that growth that's involved with all of that, but I'm stuck in the past. And it sort of inhibits the whole growing process. So when we do tshuva, it enables us to take one foot in front of the next and essentially really profess that whole idea of the internal transformation. Now again, but when I pair that together with tzedakah, now I'm realizing that the whole purpose of this elevation and this transformation and this movement is so that I could be a conduit of the ratzon of Hashem, of doing what it is that you, Hashem, have put me in this universe to do and to be. And after all, at the end of the day, let's remember, Hashem could have created anybody. He could have created like another person, but he chose to create you and you and you and you and me with all that imperfection, with all the baggage and the challenges and the difficulties and the lackings. So he had a very specific purpose for bringing you and you and you and me into the universe as we are in the current state, in the current generation, with all the challenges. He thought about us. And guess what? He keeps thinking about us, because without him thinking about us, you and I are not existing. So he never left us. He never will leave us. And he's taking us through to redemption. And so we have to always remember that. And in order to really feel that more, I want to beg you, use the next few days. Use the 10 days between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur particularly, but again, every day of the year, to just go through that tshuva process, to come back, to return back to who you really are, to recognize and reveal to yourself your godly light and how wonderful you are and how perfectly designed you are, being the imperfect you that Hashem thought about when he thought about you into creation, and he keeps thinking about you into creation. That's super, super important. So now I'm not going to hold you into any more suspense, and I'll talk to you a little bit about my personal experience before we close up today's night of chizuk. And again, I just want to thank Lamana Chai. I want to thank those that continue to run Lamana Chai, ongoing day by day and helping so many others. I personally know of a bunch who are being helped today, these days before the Chag and every day of the year, through the amazing chesed and benevolent work of those that are staffed in Lamana Chai. So my experience in general was a very rocky road in my life. So about 15 years ago, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, which is called MS, which is a chronic autoimmune disease that, technically speaking, on paper, medically, there is no cure. Certainly there's medical treatment, and I'm on all of them and so on and so forth, and being treated by beautiful doctors here in Israel, and when I was in the States over there as well. But at the end of the day, when I was living in the States, I was diagnosed when I was in the States. I'm a caterer by profession, so I'm a trained chef. I had a beautiful business. And unfortunately, fortunately, again, godly reasons to everything that we go through in life, we went through some very, very tough financial times to the point where when we were in the States, our house went into foreclosure. We lost everything. I'm not going to go into the details, but it was not a very pleasant time financially for us. And we just, like the box of cards, everything just came tumbling down. And that's the brink of how we made Aliyah to Israel about 12 years ago. Actually, this Tisha B'Av that just passed was 12 years since we made Aliyah. So that's how we made Aliyah to Israel, literally upon filing bankruptcy in the United States. And we found ourselves, of course, still struggling here. We received help whatever we could in the States. And then when we made Aliyah here, we were told about the various different beautiful chesed organizations here in Ramat Bet Shemesh. And for many, many, many years, I was one of those recipients of, financial help, financial consultation. It was all done with an open heart, no questions asked. There was no sense at all of me being any less than anybody else in the universe, even though I was on the receiving side. And I really do say this with a lot of choked up tears in my throat, because I was dealt with such love, with such care, with such amazing open-heartedness. And I kept saying to Hashem, I wait. And I know the day will come when the wheels of fortune will turn. And that one day, when I can, and my husband and I we looked at each other and we said, one day, we will give back. We will give back. And I won't ever forget how, a couple of years ago, the wheels of fortune, thank God, really did start to change. I'm not going to get too much involved with how, what, where, and how, but I won't ever forget this one particular incident. Okay, so I'm walking into Best Market. I think that's what it's called, right? In Park Center in Ramat Bet Shemesh, and there was a booth of Lamana Chai standing outside, sort of like when you're in America, you hear the Salvation Army with their ding-a-ding-a-ding. So it kind of reminded me a little bit of that just before Rosh Hashanah. It was a couple of years ago. And I passed by the booth, and it happened to be that's about the time where things has begun to change around for us. And of course, already weeks before that, I already called Lamana Chai and said, you don't have to give us any more, take us off your list. And it was a very happy moment. But I remember that I opened up my checkbook. I stopped before I entered into the supermarket. I opened up my checkbook and I wrote a check for 500 shekels on the spot. I don't even know if I had the money in the bank. It doesn't even matter at this point. But I felt inclined to give a very honorable amount, which was for me at the time, very honorable amount. And I remember the man looked at it and he said, wow. He was like a little bit surprised, I guess he's used to getting 5 shekels, 10 shekels, whatever it was. But I felt like I needed to give something very, very significant. And then I turned to him and I said, I just want you to know that at one point, the money that you were collecting, you were distributing to me. And I finally had the opportunity right now to be able to give back. And this is such a significant moment for me that it's just, I'm again, just tickled to be able to give back and to be on the other side, and that it's done in discretion. Nobody knows, who the donors are, which is one of the most beautiful things. I don't know who those people were who were giving to Lamana Chai all those years when I was receiving. I don't know who they are. They could be my best friends that I sit and have coffee with sometimes here in Bet Shemesh. Like, I don't know. But it's done with such poise, and it's done with such open-heartedness. It's done with so much dignity that, again, today, I really will stand on the mountaintops and I will preach, to anybody who has the ability to give $1 to 10 shekels. It doesn't matter, but to be a regular donor of Lamana Chai, because when I say to you, the wheels of fortune turn around, And you know what? Even those of us who have received or who are receiving tzedakah today, we're also obligated to give tzedakah, right? Because Hashem knows that we're all one community. We're all here to give and open our hearts and love one another. And that is what's going to usher in the Geula. So yeah, maybe you might be on that side right now where right now you can't give. And maybe you're even one of the receivers that are receiving from the Manachai. But I want to offer you what I did during those years. And it was years when I was receiving. I just kept saying, Hashem, I know, I trust, I have Emuna, that one day the wheels of fortune will turn. And when that day comes, with the same tears that I received, the same tears I will give back. And I wait and I yearn and I salivate and I trust that that day will come. And so this is a word for the givers. This is a word for the receivers. And I hope that you all will really embrace this amazing organization who really has dedicated themselves to just being there for the community. So I want to thank you, Ella, and all of those who you're surrounded by and who you're founded on. Continue to do the amazing work that you do. It does make a difference in people's lives. I'm a testimony to that. And for those who do receive, who are on that receiving end, don't lose hope. If I can stand as testimony, the wheels of fortune will turn. You just keep yearning and believing and trusting Hashem is with you. He hears your cries. He hears your pleas, and it will turn around for you. Please, Hashem. And then you make that pledge that when it does, you will be from the donors of giving to Lamanachai so that you could be on that giving end and no longer be on that receiving end. So with that, I want to wish everyone a Shana Tova, a year filled with revealed, abundant blessings, kindness, compassion, health, Geula mentality, Emuna, and that you should all feel Hashem's love, because Hashem loves every single one of us, and He's leading us to Yerushalayim. He's leading us to Geula. Don't ever forget that He loves every single one of us. Okay, I got to stop before I really start bawling out. And I'll hand it back over to you, Ella. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Really, thank you for your warm words. I knew half of your story, but I was the secretary in Lamanachai for 6 years, and now I work in PR. And I see people come, and I see people, how they come to visit their social worker, how they leave, how they come over the years, and I see the transformation. And thank you so much, Orit. Really, thank you very much. And I want to say 5782, we are together. That's the theme of this year. Tafshin Pei Bet Beyachat. And I hope that we always be on the giving side. And I want to wish you Shana Tova Umutuka. Like Shana Tova, that is for sure. It's going to be a good year. But Umutuka, that we also may feel and really know that it's sweet. So Shana Tova Umutuka, lots of good health, and thank you, Orit.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful. If anybody has any questions, I am available. If anybody wants to ask now or later, I'll give my email just in case anybody does have any questions. You could reach me at Emuna Heal Energy, all 3 words, Emuna Heal Energy @gmail.com. You can also reach me through the website dailydoseofemuna.com. And thank you once again. We should all have just a beautiful year, and we should all be dancing in the Bet HaMikdash very soon.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a wonderful night.